Hello and welcome to The Print. I'm standing here with Madhvi Lata, the BJP's candidate for the seat of Hyderabad. It's a tough fight, ma'am. You're going up against the AMM's Asaduddin Owaisi, who's a four-time MP, and the Owaisi family has held that seat for 4 decades. What are your plans? Do you think it's a perception problem, and what can the BJP do for Hyderabad's voters?
See, the first thing is, I would say it right to neighborhood parity. When I'm saying this, I mean that it's only the Hyderabad Lok Sabha Parliament which has been hit with so much of downtroddenness when it comes to development. And what is development? Development is education, development is clean streets, development is proper drainage system, development is education, development is employment, development is seeing, the next age of mega city kind of a feeling, malls, having good playgrounds for children, university, at least having a one IT company there. You don't have anything of these there. You'll be surprised they are deprived of basic Basti medical center. That means if you just look at most of the clinics in Old City, Hyderabad Lok Sabha Parliament, you would be having a lot of such small little clinics who are not even certified to do medical diagnosis. And they just live life like that. And if you look at the medical shops, there would be many people who would have bought the compounder certificates, pharmacist certificates, and who are selling the medicines there. Who has to look at this micro level? And if you look at it, most of these government schools, they're in a pathetic stage. Teachers don't come on time. Teachers don't take their classes. You have no clue why. Whether they don't get salaries or what's the issue. And if you look at further, if you go, there have been almost so many schools established as residential schools from government during BRS, and you see that, the girls, the sons, it's a minority constituency is what people keep talking. Now, if it is a minority constituency, are you not supposed to understand the sensitivity of a minority girl? The Islam religion's conditions that, girls think that they need to wear hijab, they need to go in a burqa, close there and have a nose piece. In that circumstances, how can you have a residential school, government residential school? Up Nalgonda you can have in Adilabad, you can have maybe other districts, you can have in Malkajgiri. But when you see that it is such a high sensitive area where you have, a lot of Muslim minority living there, then you have to respect them, right? You talk about all these things as an individual, Asadji talks all about these, then why has he not looked into the sensitivity of hijab girl going and staying in a residential school? How is it possible?
I actually want to ask you about that, because I know that one major issue that the BJP is talking about and that you're talking about is the issue of triple talaq, right? Especially to reach out to Muslim voters. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And also, how have Muslim men been responding to you when you talk about the issue or raise awareness on it?
Yeah, what is the biggest issue here is, in the entire country, Hyderabad is supposed to be one of the top 5 constituencies where you have phenomenal number of Muslim women residing here. Muslim families, I would say rather. And most of them are Pasmandas. That means they belong to families where they're economically backward. Because of this reason, they are taken for granted. And the instant triple talaq, please kindly note when I'm saying instant triple talaq, is not given in Quran. Not any Shariat has instant triple talaq. But it has been created and at a point of time misused by a male-dominating society on females of Islam. Muslim community, I would rather say that. During this entire period, the lot of small little girls, who are absolutely minor by their age, they've been married to a lot of Arabs, sent to the different Arab countries. And once you land up in their land, then you need to follow the law of their land. And their law of their land has nothing to follow with what kind of a marriage they have done here and they went from here. They've taken the girl from here. In fact, these girls would be circulated among their friends and relative houses on the name of talaq and marriages. Talaq, instant talaqs and marriages. Which is an atrocity. Which is an atrocity. That means almost the Indian Muslim girl is treated as a slave. You can see there are a lot of sites, if I'm not wrong, which also openly say the sale of these girls. And nobody would want to put an eye on them because at international level, it's a big scam. There are in fact websites which do this work, and Indian girls are maximum who actually go from our country on this basis.
Is this something you're talking to your voters here about? Is this something you're raising awareness about here in Hyderabad?
See, in Hyderabad, the biggest problem is here that because they're uneducated, the fear of religion would be very high here. All of us, as we know, the scriptures are in Arabic language. Arabic language which is not even today's Arabic language, but an ancient Arabic language. Whatever is being read out by them is only read out in Arabic language. And because most of the Muslims in Hyderabad are not educated, they just have no capability or capacity to understand the true translations of the Quran. While Quran actually has not put anybody's lives to a situation that they know that's a knife on your throat. Quran also respects women a lot.
Right.
It's not that the entire process of talaq, triple talaq in Quran takes 9 to 12 months. But how would somebody know that? Now, the second thing is, even if they know that, the kind of pressure that they have because of this mediators who get them married is very high.
Right, so you're focusing on development of Hyderabad and the empowerment of the Muslim woman.
Exactly.
So actually, I mean, there's the common the common kind of trope that's bandied about is that Asad Owaisi is sort of seen as the B team of the BJP. That's a very common accusation that's alleged against him across the country. So going up against him, how serious of a fight is this?
See, one thing I really pity that he is facing an allegation which is not true. He has been never a B team of BJP. Here, let me be his friend to help him out that he cannot be B team of BJP and he is not a B team of BJP. Rather, I would say he's a direct supporter of Congress. Otherwise, you see, till now, why has Congress not declared its candidate? We are almost approaching the date of nomination. Until now, Congress has not declared its candidate. And even if it would declare a candidate, it would be just a dummy candidate, which all of us know because they have openly declared that they're working together. And what does that mean, working together? We are one. We are working together. See, for example, if NDA works together with any party, they distribute, right? Ki A Lok Sabha mein you please stand, other Lok Sabha we will stand. That's how the working together story means.
Our coalition, yeah.
Coalition. Now, this is not something like that also. This is in a democratic country, it is a very illegal way of, unlawful way of saying openly that we work together. And we have even no clue what kind of the game they're going to play all together. But that wouldn't stop the justice that I'm trying to figure it out. This would not stop us from winning. This actually tells that now they're a little scared, or probably that we at this time from BJP have decided to go head on bringing truth out. Educating the voters, telling them what they have lost in 40 years and what they should look forward to gain at least from now on. It's the basic right of the citizens of this country and the voters of Hyderabad Lok Sabha Parliament to enjoy everything that any other constituency which is well developed in this country enjoys.
Right. I mean, speaking of the BJP in Hyderabad, both the assembly elections and the municipal elections, especially the municipal elections, the BJP did really well. What are the lessons that your campaign has learned from these two and what are you applying to this Lok Sabha election?
What is it we have clearly understood is that unless we would not come up daringly that, like whatever the, kind of controls that they are taking over the institutions like polling booths, and on the streets when we go for the campaigning, previously also they have troubled many, not letting them get into their territories. They decide them as their territories and don't let us go in for campaigning. We are not going to keep quiet this time. We are going to get into every lane and by-lane of entire Hyderabad, the old city constituency, because we belong to this country and we have the right to reach every voter. Apart from that, the kind of polling booth structures that we have is really, really very pathetic. We have almost 1100 sensitive, vulnerable and critical booths here. And we are this time going to put all our requests to Central Election Commission to ensure that these polling booths are not compromised.
Right.
This is the lesson that we have learned. We have learned a lesson that everybody should show their face, and the ID card should match with them. The voter ID card should match with them. We're going to ensure for this also. And we're going to ensure that after 3 o'clock, no polling booth would lock their doors and start rigging from inside. We are going to ensure that there's enough CRP being deployed at every polling booth so that we have the just way of, the right way of polling being conducted on May 13th.
Got it. Well, thank you for joining us, ma'am. And thank you for watching this interview. Please continue watching The Print for more such. Thank you.